Yes, people, we are back. Thought I'd use a bit of an intro just to count me in for a bit, but we're back, and starting a bit of a negative note. We haven't got a pint of chocolate milk here. We've got a pint of my my evening favourites. I've not got my evening favourites, sadly. No sign of that. Not until later for me, at least. So I'm still going to get my pint glass of chocolate, man. It's still going to happen. No one's stopping me. I'm going to do it. But I've literally just come off the back of dinner, so yeah, no, I've still got this to go through. So I'm going to sip on it, enjoy it, and we're happy days. We are plain sailing. We are cruising. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Big ups to everybody who shall drop in. Already got one like on the stream. Lovely stuff. Big ups to whoever that was that has contributed to said like. Cheers, guys. Um, so, what have we got to talk about today? What have we got to talk about today? Um, so, a few things on the agenda. Um, there probably might be a few bits more to speak about, but basically what I've got on the docket here. So there's been talks about Todibo, potentially a deal being done for Todibo, despite the situation with Maguire. Um, plus also with the conversations that are swirling around at the moment regarding the club not actually well, I say that they're not actually going to sign somebody, but they're weighing up the options whether to sign someone before selling or sign someone after selling. It's a like what are we doing here? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Tony Claude Gunner, good to see you. Hope you are doing well, mate. Um, big ups to you. Jamino, fantastic to see you, Mr. Moderator. Always a pleasure. Um, Jez Collins, that was me, bro. Thank you very much, Jez. Big ups to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for liking the stream. Really appreciate the support, man. Massive legend. Over 4K subscribers now, and on the journey, on the road to 5K. Make sure you are subbing to not just Arsenal history and more, but also this bloke here. Tony Claude Gunner TV. Make sure you are subscribing to everybody. The community we've got is electric. It's lovely stuff. We're all supporting each other and our flourishing channels. Some bigger, some faster than others, but all on the same road. All on the same road, all on the same journey. We're all in it together. So big ups to everybody. And thank you very much to all of those that have supported me. Big up Tony, Claude, and Jez. Yes, 100%. We second that. We second that. But yes, basically, Todibo. Um, the word on the street is that obviously with the talk about Harry Maguire, he seems to have put the parking brake on the summer transfer window, along with plenty of other individuals. Whether you want to blame players for that, whether you want to blame club hierarchies for that, but story came out potentially entertaining the options to signing to Debo just off on a whim, um, regardless of what happens to Harry Maguire. Now, I believe that the fact that they're at all considering this probably suggests, well, that sell to buy story that we've been peddling out the whole summer. Yeah, it's kind of not true. It's sort of a thing to plug spending money in the summer transfer window, despite having still quite a fair bit to spend. It's kind of like a bit of a fabricated story. Yeah, sorry guys, sorry. Murto Madness though, make sure you're subscribing to Murto Madness because we're on a mad one. And it's more of the same problems that we've had in seasons gone by, in summer transfer windows gone by, January transfer windows, penny pinching, whether you want to call it that, or whether you just want to say, well, it's just stingy business. Really, Scrooge-like business from Scrooge-like people. Big ups Jaminho and Jez. Lovely stuff. 100%. Evening, Tony. Everybody is getting settled in. Hope you guys do enjoy the stream. I doubt that United will be sold during this transfer window, in my opinion. You know what, Jamina? It's like what I said yesterday. I have some pretty strong doubts about something being done whilst the transfer window's going on, that the Glazers will try and find some rhyme or reason, if they intend to sell, that they would wait until after the transfer window is shut, which, for us fans, we could not care less. We really couldn't care less. All we want is just a takeover to happen. We just want new owners. We just want, out with the toxic old and in with the promising new. And that's what we want. That's where we want to be. That's where we want to get to. But unfortunately, it looks like I'll tell you what. There's a lot of people that will say, well, the takeover's not happening, or the takeover is happening. We're still at a stage right now where no one said yes and nobody has said no. So we're literally in limbo, and we have been in limbo for a long time, a very long time, just in a state of limbo, and there's no official communications as to where we are in the process of the takeover, which is absolutely mental. And the club was essentially announced that it was up for sale around sort of late November, early December time. So we're not too far away. It's over 9 months now that we've been going at this. Tony Ibarra here for my Nestle Quick. Of course, there's no Nestle today. There's no Nestle Quick. We've got Pepsi today. Got Pepsi. I mean, maybe the sugar rush will make you quick or feel quick. Maybe. Ride on the sugar high. Maybe. It's an alternative. But I know. I feel it too. Chocolate milk is just built different. It's just different. It's absolutely different. The Glazers do spend. I can understand why people are Glazers out, but at least they actually spend money. Not therefore it's always spent on shite. Money is spent at Manchester United very, very poorly. But this is the common misconception. It's no money that's come from the Glazers' pocket. It's all club generated. Every penny that is spent, club generated. Club revenues, competition earnings. Can't really use the player sales point because we don't really sell players for much money. Our record sale is still Cristiano Ronaldo. That many years back, well over a decade and a half ago. Pepsi in a Coke glass. Yeah, it is. Pepsi in a Coke glass. I'm surprised that haven't just summoned a black hole right in front of our very eyes and having matter just collapse in on itself, But we take that risk all for the sake of enjoying a beverage. A baby Deliso says, I want to Amrabat and Sane to Debo Verratti to United is better next year Champions League. Well, that's very much pushing it. That is very, very much pushing it. There's absolutely no chance that's happening. 0% chance of that happening. Verratti to United, not going to happen. Spin story. Sane to United, spin story. I haven't even seen a Sane to United story. And I know without it being reported that the second it gets airtime, spin. Amrabat, we are teetering over. We're dithering. We're waiting around. We're wondering. Do we keep up the sell to buy nonsense, or do we actually pull our finger out and start acting competently? Decisions. Oh, it's a tough one. A really tough dilemma, that. Same thing with Todibo. Todibo has been recognised as a target. I mean, technically Benjamin Pavard was in that position, but he's off to Inter Milan now. So we've sat around and let that transfer happen, completely for free. Um, but yeah, essentially, Todibo and Amrabat are two deals that we could do quite easily. Just do the simple business and do it well. Happy days. Todibo be across the line in no time at all. Amrabat across the line, no time at all. Easy does it. Ten Hag gets two players he wants. Obviously more pressure on Ten Hag to deliver. 100%. Let's see how you make your bread. Let's see how you make your bread. You get all your players. Off you go, Ten Hag. Off you go, Eric. Go show us what these guys are made of. Anthony, Sancho, Paul, McShay, Maguire, Jones, Jones, De Gea, Martial, Malacia, Lukaku and Pogba are just some of the signings United have made, not to mention paying wages for Scott McShite for years. Some of those could have been good. I think Sancho could have been good. Came into an Ollie team that just literally was just vibes. Anybody, it's like Messi could have walked into Ollie's team, and Messi, the mystical superhuman player that I question is even human. That guy would have lost his golden touch, thanks to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Ollie Ball and toxic club politics. He would have lost his touch, or he would have grinded it out for a year before leaving the very next year. It's just like, no, I really just don't think that anybody would have done good under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maguire, stupid transfer fee. We were all sort of a bit oblivious to it at the time. That Harry Maguire would be such an awful signing in the long run. Phil Jones, right? Man was signed when Ferguson thought that he would become the best centre-back in the world. I can't remember who it was who we were deciding between, Phil Jones and one other player who went on to be a superstar, an absolute superstar. And Ferguson picked Phil Jones. Happens to the best of us, you could say. David De Gea, I thought, was fantastic for many, many years. Obviously, the last 2 years fell off a cliff. Martial, plagued by injuries, was actually a decent player. Malacia, comes from the Eredivisie, with a lot of potential. Could have been playing for Lyon, but instead we hijacked the move and got him in on the cheap. At least with Malacia signing, it was a cheap one. It was cheap. It was done for good value. So I can't complain with that. If it's a cheap signing that doesn't really work out, it's like, well, someone's trying to do something there, but it's not quite worked out. Lukaku's just awful for everybody, and Pogba is too busy lying on the injury table. So, yeah, some signings really, really, not good. But others, I think, could have had a better run of things, right? Could have had a better rub of the green. Our record sale is still Alex Iwobi. Holy Christ. I'll tell you what, though. I was watching a YouTube video where there's two people basically guessing the top 10s for Premier League things. And one of the categories was top 10 sales by Manchester United in their club's history. The fact that Dan James sits in that list in, I think it was fifth place or fourth place. Dan James was the fifth or fourth most expensive sale we've had at Manchester United Football Club. Oh my God! And Jesus Christ, I'd much rather have Alex Iwobi as opposed to Dan James. The guy's just the roadrunner. I honestly could not believe it. I couldn't control my laughter when United signed Paul McShane the second time. That man should have been arrested for crimes against football many, many years ago. There's so many people that it's like you might as well look into the potential scandals of the super agents of Martin Braithwaite or Chipu Motting that seem to get these ridiculous transfer moves to these, you know, world beater clubs. It's like, what's next for Chipu Motting? Real Madrid. Is the guy going to get a transfer move to Real Madrid? Mkhitaryan, yeah, that ended up going right down the drain. Tellez, that ended up being a pointless signing. Memphis Depay, it's a bit of a shame, but he holds Memphis Depay, to be fair to him, kind of holds himself accountable for his lack of performances or development under United. Di Maria was just a snake, or his wife or his girlfriend at the time. I can't remember which one it was. I mean, both of them are snakes, really. Schneiderlin came from Southampton. I was actually kind of excited for Morgan Schneiderlin. Unfortunately, didn't work out. But yeah, I actually kind of liked Morgan Schneiderlin when we signed him. Alexis, I was hoping. Come on, prime Arsenal Alexis Sanchez. Come on, prime Arsenal Alexis Sanchez. Come on, prove to us that we've got the better end of the bargain here. Or better, I would say bargain, better end of the deal here. No. Didn't even see even a remotely good performance from Alexis Sanchez. A bit of a mess of a deal, that one. Two Finnish players exchanging positions, shall we say. Dan James is fifth on that list. Yeah, he is. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Choupo-Moting, Kai Havertz, Morata, and Lukaku are all money laundering schemes, in my opinion. Quite possibly. I mean, I know we're all investigating players like Ivan Toney for match betting and Lucas Paqueta getting some eyes feasting on a Lucas Paqueta case. Checking him for some bits of betting going on there. But Christ, there's probably a much bigger money scheme going on in the game, and it's called super agents, taking players that just ain't worth a penny, getting super moves to clubs. That makes no sense. Hi, how is Manchester United new? Well, Talisha Ngoma. Manchester United isn't new, and to be honest, neither am I. I was hoping that we'd have something that would make United fans feel a bit jovious this summer, but we're sort of coming towards the end of quite possibly a 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 window. And to be honest, last window finished about a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. That was last window. The second summer with Erik ten Hag is actually even worse than the first one. That's mad. That is actually mad. But Christ, being a United supporter, I'll tell you what, don't make me feel new. It makes me feel hella old. Seriously, it's like if there's ever a time where you could almost subliminally gain chronic back pain, would be being a Man United supporter. Literally, it's mental. It's crazy stuff. I also have a belief that Mason Mount is some sort of tax write-off or insurance fraud deal. Well, go listen to Lee Gunner when he says that it's essentially a PR signing. Look at the PR agencies that Mason Mount and co, all the other players that have been involved in scandals have been signed up to. Cheers, guys. It's all part of the spin. We're all in the circus together. We're all clowns. Lovely stuff. But yeah, man, Mason Mount, absolute madness of a signing. And now the guy's injured and people are actually happy. And you know what? I'm somewhat happy as well. It means that maybe I've just seen here that Mason Mount is out for about 4 to 6 weeks. That's just been popped up. Just cropped up. 4 to 6 weeks Mason Mount is out for. So well done. We've signed for £65 million, or 55 plus 10 million add-ons. A player that has essentially ruined the balance of our midfield, put in 0 out of 10 performances in 2 games straight, and now got himself injured. It's like Phil Jones' cycle, isn't it? Come back into the team, calamity moments, calamity cycle, get injured, disappear. Come back, get a game time, do calamity stuff, get injured, away for a month or two, and it's the vicious cycle that dooms Manchester United. It's plagued us before, and by the looks of it, it could just plague us again. And seriously, Mason Mount, absolute crazy stuff. I still can't get my head around it. That's a mad take. Mama Flossie, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. In some serious investigation needs to be done. Why have Arsenal and United both funded one of our biggest rivals by buying their deadwood when both clubs didn't even need to sign them? Well, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Pick your brains a bit with that question. Probably nothing to it whatsoever, but just have a bit of fun to speculate about it and enjoy the sensation of deep diving down the rabbit hole that just takes you through all these different lefts and rights and back way, alleyway, avenues, and all of that. Evening all. Good evening to you, as to everybody else that is watching. Big ups to everybody. We've smashed it up to 6 likes on the stream. Let me load the live subscriber count, because from last time checking, we were 11 subs away from 100. We were 11 subs away from 100, so we could be very close. We are 90 subs. 90 subs. Woo! We are 10 away. We are 10. No, not that way. That way round. No, it is that way round for you. We are 10 subscribers away from 100. So I can, what is it? No, is it that? Yes. I'm going to try and do an absolute stupidity here. I don't know if you can see it. No, that doesn't work. Fuck it. Absolutely fuck it. Stick it in a bin, set that bitch alight, and watch it burn. Is the hand signals. But yeah. But we are 10 subscribers away from 100. So big ups to everybody that has been supporting the channel. Fuzzy, Mama Flossie. Sorry, I probably just bled some people's ears right there. We are 1 subs away from 100. Well, we're 10 subs. We're 10 subs. If it's, I don't know, if we mirror it, if we just mirror everything, we'll be much closer to our targets. Lovely stuff. Well done, Fuzzy. It hasn't taken you that long. It hasn't taken me that long. And credits to everybody that has supported the channel. Your generosity has really touched me in my heart. That's seriously, I really, really appreciate the love and support that people from far and wide, but also from the communities that I'm involved with, have shown me. Really, seriously, means a lot. So thank you ever so much for everybody that has been supporting the channel in its journey. And I guess we drink to it, big ups to everybody. And here is to a long, continuous, successful journey through the YouTube landscape. Into prosperous lands. Here we go. In all seriousness, well done, man. You deserve it. Thank you very much, Jaminho. Big ups to you. Massive contributors to the channel. As well, you two as well, Mama Flossie. Also, Jez as well. Tony Ibarra. Tony Claude Gunner as well. Big ups to you. Longhaired Yeti, wherever he may be tonight. Big ups to him as well. He is also growing as well, and everybody else that has contributed. Carl Rossi as well. Let's stick Carl Rossi in there. Big ups to Carl Rossi, wherever he may be. Um, cheers. But, but, a little something, that happened today that has, I think, put a lot of fans into a bad mood, and it's probably a contributor to perhaps my mood about Manchester United this evening. And that occurrence, that is Manchester United closed doors friendly. All right, no, there's no pressure. Go out, just have a bit of fun, work on your fitness, work on your game, just try and do a good job, just put in a good performance, and happy days. We'll move on to the next thing. We didn't even do that. It's closed doors friendly at Carrington, so it's at our training ground, and essentially Burnley handed our arses to us on a silver platter. They lubed us up and absolutely ran a freaking train through us. Yep. Probably. I mean, I haven't seen any highlights. I haven't seen any stats. It's not. It wasn't really any official games at all. It was just a closed door friendly. But Burnley smashed us 3-0 at Carrington. They walked in and said, right, pass around the cones and shoot into the empty nets. And they did just that. What they didn't know is when they finished their training session, right, they went back into the changing rooms, right, to get ready to go and leave. And someone probably told them, do you know, guys, that those cones you're passing around, those were actually Man United players? And they'd just be like, oh my God, my mind has been blown. Like, how has this happened? My reality has been warped. It's absolutely mental. Like, how the hell in a closed doors friendly do we go and get smashed? Like, okay, if we lost the closed door friendly like 3-2 or something, it's like, well, at least that tells me that we're trying to work on something and players are actually trying to put something in, trying to progress this team and further our squad. At least that would give me a bit of faith. But no, instead, Burnley walks up to Carrington and absolutely slap us around left, right, and centre. It's not that good. Not good. Apparently, as some of the lists of the players that were playing in that friendly as well. Oh, Jesus Christ. Apparently, according to CoreSport, Fiorentina have actually lowered their asking price for Amrabat even further. So I thought £26 million would be a bargain. They've lowered it, apparently, just rumours, they've apparently lowered it to 21 million. So they've knocked 5 million off the asking price. I'll tell you what, we will sit around and we'll sit on our hands and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, even when we've had that. But I think it was of some of the names that were playing. I don't think Maguire was playing. I believe Johnny Evans was playing. Scott McTominay, Donny van der Beek, Martial, Facundo Palestri, Hannibal Mabry, and someone else I think was mentioned on that list. I can't remember who it was, but it's not great. It really isn't great. I mean, it's Burnley. It's Burnley. I don't know if Burnley would have played their first team either. I mean, maybe they have, maybe they did, because I think it was their game against Luton got postponed because Luton can't play any home games for a while, so they probably did actually play their first team, to be fair, because obviously to do with match fitness. We are all part of a great community. That is Very, very true. Very, very true, Mama Flossie. A fantastic community filled with fantastic people. Um, and it's all credit. It's all credit to people and just honest people, generous people in their truthful, honest nature. It's as simple as that. Just fantastic people. Um, Best community on YouTube. Um, well, obviously a biasery, perhaps. There is probably a community out there on YouTube where everyone pays each other like £1,000 a month or something. There's just like, here you go, have a £3,000. Maybe there's a community out there that does that. But best community on YouTube, probably not the best community, but seriously a fantastic community, honestly fantastic community, right? And some of the qualities that we've got in this community, you cannot buy. You cannot buy it, right? Cannot buy it. Priceless, absolutely priceless. It is. Good stuff. Scott McShite was playing, so the 3-0 isn't a surprise. Um, well, I mean, 3-0, you'd expect that we didn't turn up, we didn't play, we didn't do anything. We're literally just passing practice. Those little like rondo, or the piggy in the middle. It's kind of like that. That's probably what occurred on the pitch. None of this actual like tactical approaches, trying to put minutes on the pitch, get energy into your legs or anything like that. None of that. Just straight up walk in, get slapped up, walk out. It's like Santino Marella in the Royal Rumble. Hops into the ring and then just gets clotheslined over the top rope by Kane within a matter of seconds and is immediately eliminated. It's kind of like that for United. We walk in, Carrington, yeah, feeling good, guys, and just get punched straight in the mouth. And now we're just reeling for the rest of the day. We're just like, it hurts, man, it really hurts. That's kind of the events of, I think, Manchester United players' afternoons, basically. I think everybody else that was probably sat in training was watching it just like, I am surrounded by idiots. Might be a little bit of that, but I think Mainoo played. I don't actually know if he would have played in that game because I don't know if he's quite back from injury or if he's training yet. I haven't heard anything that he's back in training. So you might have thought it was Hannibal Mabry because I know he was playing. Actually, was he playing? Was it Mabry? I know Tahith Chong's gone. Was it Mabry? Oh, bloody hell. Let me have a look. Apparently, we're linked to trying to negotiate against Leipzig for a right back. Was it right back? No. But apparently it's a top talent called Dino Clapija. Clapija? No idea who that is. They've got a New York City FC shirt on, so I wouldn't know. Let me have a look to see if I can find who it was that was playing in it. Oh my god. The closed door was a 3-0 result. The open door will be a 6-0 result. Fuck my life, imagine if that's the case. Scott McTominay and Paul McShane are both nicknamed McShane. By watching them both play, you would be able to tell the difference. I don't think you would need to worry about telling the difference. I don't think having the USO syndrome would be any issue there because I mean the fact of the matter is there's two just equally as trash players on a football pitch, and both would just be getting absolutely clowned on. Not seeing anything. Cannot find. Yeah, no, Hannibal played. Fernandez played. Not the Fernandez of Bruno, not Bruno Fernandez, but the Spanish. I think he's Spanish left back. Fernandez, guy who plays in the under-21s. But even so, not great. Really, really not good. I'm not even a United fan, but I gave up on Scott McShite in June last year, mate. I gave up on him, on Scott McTominay, when he started getting played in midfield with Fred. You saw the world famous McFred combination. You would have thought, oh, like red wine and cheese and biscuits. Oh. Mm. Unfortunately, not. It's like eating toxic waste sweets, right? And and maybe a Bloody Mary, and some toxic waste super sour sweets. Maybe that's what watching Scott McTominay and Fred is like. You know, you taste something super super sour, and it's like cringe in your face, and then you think, "Oh, I'll have this drink on the side to soothe it, all right, to get the sourness out of your mouth." What you don't realise is it's a Bloody Mary you're about to drink. So you start drinking it, and holy cow, the spice kicks in, and now you're on to watching the other component of the McFred midfield. From one pain to the next, essentially. I gave up on McShite when he let Conor Hourihane, Jeff Hendrick, and Alan Brown dominate him in midfield. Van der Beek would dominate that midfield three if he was the only midfield playing against them. Well, that's the thing. Donny van der Beek, I think he plays further forward in midfield. He's like Bruno Fernandes, and I think it's actually a reasonable shout for people who are saying bench Fernandes and play Van der Beek in that position. I honestly think that is genuinely a fair shout. Because I think what we need is just a player that's got a fairly good balance to him. And I think Donny van der Beek on a pitch, whether he's got the ball, whether he hasn't got the ball, has got a fairly good balance to his game. Obviously, yeah, he might look a bit rusty, probably put in a 6 out of 10 before you see anything really, any special from him. I think that Donny van der Beek would need minutes to actually be able to prove exactly what he's worth. So I think it's going to be a bit frustrating if we were to play Van der Beek and people start hating on him after one game and say, well, this guy's absolutely trash. Well, the guy hasn't played consistent minutes. He's never done so in a Man United shirt. But he would have done if not for a season-ending injury that occurred to him last season. By the way, those three midfielders I named are the three worst midfielders I've ever watched. You know what to do, Jaminho. You know what to do. Liquidate them. Liquidate them. Send them to the gulag. Absolutely gulag their asses, mate. Send them down. But Van der Beek played as a centre mid during his best days at Ajax. He did. I remember one of the he had is literally can't remember who it was who was playing at the in the deep position, but it's him and De Jong, Frenkie De Jong. Both the other two midfielders, either side of whoever it was, sat in that defence. I don't know if it was Edson Alvarez. I think it was somebody else at that time. But God, that Van der Beek, Frenkie De Jong midfield was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know it got slapped up a bit by Tottenham Hotspur, but let's be real. Shit like this happens. I mean, Ajax haven't got world beaters in every position. They probably overachieved that year with the players that they had. I would love to liquidate them three. Brilliant idea. Yeah. Find them brands, and wreck them. 1-star Google reviews for days. Trustpilot factor. Trust factors. Down with you. Down with you. Absolutely destroy the reputation. Van der Beek, De Jong, and Lasse Schoen, I think it was, Alvarez arrived the following season. Let's have a look. Do, 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 do. Yes, it was. In that midfield. So basically, their team against Spurs in the semi-final of Champions League was Onana. They had Tagliafico at left back, Blind de Ligt at centre backs, Mazraoui at right back. They had Schoen, De Jong, Van der Beek in the midfield three. They had Neres, the bloke who took the piss out of Eric Ten Hag's haircut and then got benched for an entire 2 months. Dusan Tadic up top, and then Hakim Ziyech at right wing. It's like that team there. Andre Onana, great goalkeeper. De Ligt, a fairly good centre back. Mazraoui, fairly good right back. Frankie de Jong, fantastic midfielder. Van der Beek, we're yet to really find out. Neres, flop. Ziyech, washed up. And Tadic, I'm pretty sure the guy. I don't know if that was his first season at Ajax or if he was there a season before. That might have been his first season actually. So after moving from Southampton, but Dusan Tadic, aging striker, but with some fantastic ability to him. You look at that team, right, and look at where the players are today. It's just like, well, that team ain't that good compared to like where all of these players are respectively today. It's not actually a very good team. So yeah, I would say that they definitely overachieved in that respect. Um, that Ajax team is my favourite ever team to watch as a neutral. De Ligt, De Jong, Onana, Van der Beek, Ziyech, Tagliafico, Mazraoui, Blind, Neres. That team was something special. The football that they played was so good. It was honestly ridiculously good. So good. It's such a shame. It's such a shame that you don't get to see that same thing at Man United. It's such a shame. It really, really is. Neres apparently smoked 3 milligrams of marijuana or something similar every day, from what I've heard. He also basically, I think it was him. Basically, there's this girl on Instagram or somewhere on social medias, and he bagged her by just simply messaging her this: "I am David Neres. Come to me." Just like that, he bagged him. Just like that. Man's Riz was off the charts. Riz off the freaking charts. Off the scales. Like, if I text somebody, hi, I'm Hot Fuzz 44, or hi, I'm William, come to me. I will get blocked. I will get swatted. I will get police raids. The military would show up. Mate, I would be finished. I'll probably be shot by the FBI guy that's spying on me in the trees just outside my house. That's probably what would happen. But David Neres is just that's the life of a footballer, I guess. That team was brilliant. The only successful ones were De Ligt, De Jong, and maybe Onana at a push. Somewhat, yeah. So yeah, not barely any world class players, if any at all. Some great players by all means, but really pushing into the world class bracket. You're not really. Maybe Frankie De Jong fits in there, maybe, but nobody else really. Another former Ajax player stabbed his cousin. Apparently, is apparently a trafficker. Yeah, there's some absolute madness. What was it? I can't remember his name, but I know of the player. I know of the player who it was. I cannot remember the name of him. It was a winger, I'm pretty sure. Like a left winger or something. I cannot, for the life of me, remember who it was. Um, Quincy Promes. Quincy Promes. That's who it was. God, guy was like one of them underrated ballers as well. He's an underrated baller, and then he sort of fell off a cliff as well. You know that feeling? Yeah, it's a sorry state of affairs for us in the dating scene. Sorry state of affairs, but you know we have to make do sometimes. Um, but yes, interesting with the news with the Amrabat story that apparently the price has been dropped yet again, and for some reason, we sorry, I'm just reading something here. Um, so yeah, Mike Keegan. So about 9 hours ago, as of this morning, I am told that there has been no real movement since our last story, which said that negotiations were ongoing with a number of parties, and that we still, I'm sad to report, have no winner. Um, yeah, I think we'll get into that in a momento. You know, momento. Another former Ajax player, Ihataren, yeah, the less I say, the better. He was so talented, yeah, but his career right up a tree. Yeah, I think the guy was at Ajax on loan from Juventus. Um, you know, had the world at his feet, outside influences, and you know, absolutely stuffed his career. It's a bit like what was it, Adebayor, a fantastic striker. Outside issues, I think, just lost his focus, lost the same sort of level of drive. I think the guy started off so well, great striker, but just fell away into obscurity. It's a shame when it happens. Um, the price has been dropped for Amrabat, yet Stingy Man United will still be trying to cut corners on the deal. Well, it's probably not cutting corners on the deal itself, Jimmy. It's probably um, United deciding whether they actually want to sign another player, like to actually buy another player, or just let this summer transfer window peter out, because that's the conversations apparently that are going on right now. They're deciding, do we sell the player first to then buy who it is we want to buy, or do we just buy who it is we want to buy irrespective of any sales? And it's actually just mental, and it's like there's a lot of people out there that will still believe that there is FFP going on, that there is no money, or you've got to sell to buy. That if it was like we have to sell to buy, there would be no consideration for buying before selling. There would be none. We wouldn't be talking about buying before selling. We wouldn't be doing that if we had to sell to buy. There wouldn't be that discussion. So for me, it's one of those where you can sort of read between the lines, and you know it just makes a load of sense. I'll tell you what would be a good acquisition for the midfield. I know it's probably going to be another one of those where it's like, oh, another Ten Hag man, it's another Ten Hag boy. Um, but Amrabat, we sign Amrabat, right? And then we get Gravenberch. So now Gravenberch is probably not a, he's not a great player, but he's good. And I think based off like in comparison, I mean, Gravenberch in the midfield, right? He's not like Mount. He's not like Mount. He's not the sort of guy that is always, pushing forwards. He's always in the attacking positions and leaving players isolated further back. He's not that sort of player. He's a little bit more eyes open, right? He's a bit more mentally engaged in all areas of the midfield game. So I've been Gravenberch for what he could offer to Manchester United would actually be a legitimate, probably be a legitimate target, legitimate signing in Man United's case. So I think, I don't see why not. especially if it means that you definitely keep Scott McTominay out of the team, or essentially force your hand to selling him. But more importantly, you can bench Mason Mount. You can bench Mason Mount. Go for it. Do it. Just do it. I mean, even if it's a loan deal, it's just like it's an option you can pick and say, cool, that's where you're going. That's your squad role right there. Willis Mace, good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Um, if Arsenal fears to sell Balogun to our rivals, it means there's something they see in Balogun that will make him a threat to Arsenal when they meet. Not so. Then why do you sell him when he's good? Going to a Balogun topic there. I don't know. There's quite a few people that are not happy about the prospect of selling Balogun to Chelsea. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans. I think probably the best people to ask is the Arsenal fans. For me, it's like you've got Eddie Nketiah at the moment, where he's not uprooting trees here, right? He's not ripping up trees. He's essentially your bang average utility player. Bang average. He will sometimes get you goals when you need to, but he will let you down in that final third that many more times. Balogun, he's got more of an eye for goal for me. More of an eye for goal and a bit more potential to actually exceeding. I think if he hasn't already exceeded Eddie Nketiah's levels, as a Premier League striker, it's just for some reason I think because where Eddie Nketiah is in his respective development, that Arteta or the professionals that decide the squad, the people in the squad, have decided, well, Eddie Nketiah is probably more fitted for us at this time than Balogun, so we'll let Balogun go, even though Balogun technically could probably do a better job, and most likely would do a better job for Arsenal in the long run than Eddie Nketiah would. So maybe that be the case. That's just my viewpoints. I mean, I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I don't really have all the ins and the outs and all of the knowledge on Arsenal players as such. But I think best people to ask about the Balogun situation would be Jaminho in the chat over there, or a couple of others perhaps. Maybe Jez from Arsenal History and More, Tony Claude. Perhaps he could tell you a thing or two. But from my perspective, I would say, look, Eddie Nketiah, I think we're going to get a bit more joy from Balogun than we would with Eddie Nketiah. So that's just who I would go with. Maybe there's quite a few people that would think or feel differently about that situation. But we'll have to see. United need a drum beat like EastEnders just lately. Blogger Yeti, good to see you, mate. Yeah, I think the whole thing is like, I'll tell you what, if we could hire a TV company to actually do, like, forget Amazon Prime doing the All for Nothing documentary, right? For Manchester United. I mean, Christ almighty, it would look like a budget version. There'll be so much drama. It would literally be like Love Island. Literally, it would look a bit like a case of Manchester United having their own All or Nothing documentary would look a bit more like freaking Love Island than anything that's actually like a more football orientated entertainment show or anything. But Christ almighty, we are in dire straits. We really are in dire straits. The whole setup is a complete mess. Richard Arnold everyone's after Richard Arnold's head right now, rightfully so. Should be after John Murtaugh's head as well, with the criminally shite transfer window we've had. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. TJ Warren, big ups to you, man. I hope you're doing well. Fantastic to see you. Um, Mud United, yeah. Mudchester United Football Club. I mean, do we call it a football club at this point? I mean, it's kind of like to the stingy corporate tie-wearing bastards that sit in the offices all day in Mayfair or wherever it is. They sit there and go, "Oh, do we spend 21 million on Amrabat? They've lowered the pricing. They've lowered the pricing. We put the bid in." It's like them people. I mean, for God's sakes, like seriously, all of these people have got to be sacked. It's honestly just out of this world, like how bad these people are at their jobs. Uh, Love Island is more like Brokeback Mountain, mate. It's a painful. Yeah, it's one of those like cringe-worthy shows. Christ Almighty, I dread if Amazon Prime actually announced that. By the way, if they were to say, "Oh, we're going to do an All for Nothing um, documentary on Man United," honestly, I'm burying my head in the sand. I'm burying my head in the sand. Someone tell me if this coast is clear before I pull my head out. Um, how we do? We do good. We do good. All good here. We're living in a Montiel wonderland. My God, like Yeti, bro, you're equipping yourself for absolute destruction of Manchester United at the highest order. Like, man's gonna walk in, right? They're gonna do this, like, what is it? This Trojan horse or something, like out of Troy, where they roll this horse into the middle of Old Trafford, and then just out of nowhere, these people start springing out. Like, Old Trafford will just be on fire on Saturday afternoon. It's just going to be clapped. It's going to be absolutely clapped. We're just going to get. It'll just be getting destroyed. Are the Stellas flowing? Not quite Stellas, but Pepsi will have to do. Pepsi and well, actually, no. This is good. This is good. This is discombobulation in a glass, right? It's Coca-Cola glass with Pepsi. Discombobulation, right? I I am probably started a war in two different countries with this combination. It's on the internet. It's on the internet now. This man's drinking Pepsi out of a Coca-Cola glass. The world has officially come to an end. So say your prayers. It would just be called nothing. It would just be untitled. This doesn't the slogan. This doesn't deserve to be named. Good luck in enjoying things. No drinks tonight, mate. Uh, Sadly, I'm not usually an alcohol drinker, so um, unfortunately, there's no prospect of a drunk stream. Well, I'll tell you what stream could get me drunk. Literally, as a non-alcoholic drinker, one stream that probably would get me drunk is celebrating when the club gets sold. If that comes out, mate, celebration stream, I will go on for 24 hours if I have to. I'm not joking. I will legit just go live for 24 hours straight. We will be here live from freaking whenever it gets announced to the same time the goddamn following day. I do not care. If work wants me, I'm calling in sick. We are doing that. Um, your last 5 years would make a good Monty Python film. Oh, mate. What's his face? Mate, just stick Rowan Atkinson. Yeah, is it Atkinson? Yeah, yeah. Rowan Atkinson. Stick Rowan Atkinson as the main actor, right? For for a documentary. Literally, it would fit in. It'll fit like a glove. Rowan Atkinson. What does this button do? Press that button, and one of the pictures and Carrington explodes. It's got the self-destruct feature implemented by yours truly, Richard Arnold. Mate, if you don't laugh, you cry. Um, Basically, club takeover, sale talk. What's going on with the sale talk? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Basically, we have had an explosion, a glorious explosion. Oh wow, okay. Just people trying to justify this 3-0 loss, the 3-0 drubbing to Burnley, behind closed doors, friendly, as you do, as you do. Um, but yeah, basically, Mike Keegan about 9 hours ago came out and said that there's no winner, there's nothing happening as of yet. But basically, Neil Custis, the club PR guy for Manchester United, came out and said that the takeover has been completed and it will be done so in October. The announcement will come in as early as next month. When does the transfer window end? At the end of this month. So, so. Neil Custis, Mr. PR guy, Mr. Plate Spinner of Greater Manchester area. How do you have all of the scoops on everything that's going on with the takeover process that none of the bidders have any insight on, none of the business journalists have any insight on, but you have the early news. You have the first break of the news. I wouldn't even say it's like one of those where you say, well, take it with a pinch of salt. I'd say, nah, just take take a whole bucket of salt. Like, say for instance, the salt gravel that you stick on your streets when it snows over. Just take a whole big yellow motherfucker and pour that shit all over your head. Right? That's how much pinches of salt you got to take with this. Because Neil Custis, this guy, mate, talking out of your arse, good sir. Talking out of your arse. And for those of you that were in the Instagram group chat when you saw me saying that Neil Custis has got the United fans on strings, literally the second that came out, one United account reported on it, then everybody did. Literally went spreading like a wildfire. That everyone's just like, oh, tears in my eyes. Oh, literally, you got fucking Qatari airliner adverts trending on Twitter again. Like, why? Why are we like this? Why are we like this? Mr. Man United PR man has just told you, right, when none of the more reliable or most reliable sources have said the same thing for it to not happen, to not come true. But we believe not only just the Sun, but Mr. Man United PR guy himself. We believe that. What do you mean? It's like it can't get any worse. Hold my beer. What? I tell you what, it can't get any worse. Watch, just watch. You know what? I'm a touch wood right now that it doesn't get worse because I genuinely want what's best for my club. So I hope it doesn't get worse. Please don't lose to Nottingham Forest. Please don't be a 4-0 drabbing at Old Trafford to Nottingham Forest. Please, just it's a simple request. Mama Flossie says there's a few journalists saying it's not done. There's nothing from the club bidders or the Glazers, and that Custis has jumped the gun big time. There is I've seen a Custis apologist on Twitter saying, well, this guy's well linked to the club, and one of his one of his close mates used to serve as one of the board's hierarchies, or used to work with the Glazers, things like that. I'm like, that doesn't mean anything though. Your job is to write stories for this club. I know factually that anything that comes out of your mouth, you need to do a double take, triple take, quadruple take, pentatake. read between your lines, because you're bound to see that the legitimacy of your report, if you actually read in depth to it, is not true. It's not going to be true. I'd say this now, and then we get literally 1st of September that Rain Group actually come out and say United has well, the Glazer family have selected Sheikh Jassim as the winning bid for Manchester United. Imagine if we actually get that on September 1st. I mean, I'll be happy. I say I'll be happy for a couple of minutes. No, I'd actually literally, I'll just explode. I'll just explode on the spot if that happens. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I suppose the question really would probably not be journalists, but rather people that might be associated to the club, right? That talk about it, like hallway talk or something, right? Something a little bit like that, or the mutuals might start talking about it, or you get the business accounts come out and say it, or better yet, the Rain Group actually officially announce it, or the club statement would be the first to announce it. Something along those lines. That's probably what I'd be waiting for. Nothing from journalists or the ITKs or the Qatari or Sir Jim Ratcliffe hype accounts. None of those. None of those. Right, Diddy, I just bid £10 and I'm in the lead. Is that the bidding process for the packet of Watsits at your local corner store? Because I heard those could be in some good demand. Must be a bang. You better be hoping. If it's one packet of Watsits you're after, you better hope that it's worthwhile. It better be the most banging packet of Watsits you've ever had in your life. According to New York Stock Exchange, the Glazers still own the club. The Glazers will still own the club as long as the Rain Group actually announce something, or actually say to either one of the parties, yeah, look, we're going with your bid. Let's now start this takeover process. Let's actually start the final stages. But the public shares that are viewable on, just by a quick Google search, those prices are manipulated a lot of the time by news outlets, by stories, by talk, by interpretations, by predictions. There's a lot. So, I mean, those prices there, probably not the most amazing teller, but you can probably get the sense that something could be happening in reaction to the stock market prices having a massive spike. I mean, a massive, massive spike, like talking $1 to $2 spikes just out of nowhere. Literally just out of nowhere. No reports first, no interpretations, posted on public spaces, nothing like that. Just out of nowhere, suddenly prices sit at like $22, and then all of a sudden 24.5, and sort of another spike up to $25, $26. If you got something like that, then it's the traders, right, or the investors, shareholders, will have been hearing, oh yes, or something big's about to happen. Let's get the shares in now. So the guy that's going to buy all the shares, so the private ones and the Glazers, like the 68% of the club private shares, and then you'll get the 32%, I think it's about 32% of the public shares. Whoever owns the stakes in those will get their shares bought out as well. So I think the fact that if it's Sheikh Jassim, you would probably see spikes going absolutely mad just before the sale happens, right? Going absolutely mental. And with the announcement of the sale, then you'll start to see those go up into the $30, maybe probably not the $40, because that would be absolutely ludicrous, but going up massive amounts. I ain't daft enough to count you out at Old Trafford. Do you know what? We'll see. And also, by the way, everyone watching, there shall be the previews coming up very, very soon, either tomorrow or Friday, there will be previews on this channel, but also on this channel here. Nottingham Forest versus Man United, or Man United versus Forest. It should be that way around. We will do a preview on both channels. Which way round it's going to be, we'll have to see. But me and Yeti, we're going to talk the talk and let the bullshit walk. But yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. Evening, Hotbars. Evening, Carl Rossi. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Was bigging yourself up before you popped in as well earlier in the stream. Big ups to everybody. We've been through this kind of crap with for once. Hopefully things turn out good for you like they have for us. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of people, right, that perhaps they don't quite understand, like, the constant war with the Glazers and this fan base. Is that sometimes people will say, well, look, get the Norwich scarves out when you lose a game, but put them away again when you win the game. It's like, I get there's a lot of flip-floppy fans out there, but the proper hardcore ones, they stay consistent and true to their message, and those same people would have been the ones that were protesting around the same times that we were winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues and retaining the Premier League titles. We were protesting before they took over, when they took over, and after they took over, all throughout the periods of success, because we knew what they were about. We knew what they were about. But it's just over time. It's now really, the situation of fans versus owners has reared its ugly head, but it's more prevalent now than ever because of where the club is, and essentially the fact that there's nobody in between, players or fans and club owners that's actually, keeping the place relatively clean. And now it's run out of it's run out of room. We've run out of time. We've run out of patience. And the Glazers are essentially running out of money incoming to keep up the way that they want to run the club. So the thing is that they're sort of at a crossroads. You're either going to have to change how you own your club and what you're doing with your money and how you're going to go about paying off what the club needs to have paid off, or you sell it, right? Unfortunately, no dividends are going to bail you out this time, because the club could fold completely and you'll lose everything. And the Glazers, being money people, they don't want to lose everything. They want to get a good price for it. They want to get some good money for it. Mr. Rossi, Mr. Cool Yeti. Rashford always wakes up when you play us. Well, I hope he's extra awake, because he'd be playing on the left wing. I'm hoping that that's what encourages Rashford to, really put in a strong performance. I'd like to see Marcus Rashford playing on the left wing, putting in a good performance, and looking happy, right? Looking happy, having fun, enjoying himself, not cutting a frustrated figure on the pitch 24/7, and not having just a team with an attack that's just taking pop shot, missing targets, not challenging the goalkeepers at all. Just having a good solid attack, and Rashford, you get a better attack if he's playing off the left. Question: should United drop Anthony as well as Greenwood? Surely they have to. I suppose the thing is with Anthony is because his case is based in Brazil, not in this country. So I don't know how the law would work, based off of something where someone's in a different country, but, something in their own country, where they're not currently residing, that there is, that law would be able to then cross over into this country to prosecute somebody for a crime, perhaps that's occurred in a completely different country, unless it's something that the international courts were to decide to get involved with. Maybe that would be a different case, but I don't know for something like this, because I know with this whole this whole thing about players getting up to no good um, behind closed doors and all of that. I know there's probably a lot of cases, right, that have probably not come to light yet, but it's one of those things where if he enters, if it like legitimately, if Antony gets put in to a legal process, that yes, he should be withdrawn. He should be withdrawn. But the thing is that I think sure there's like a big forthcoming of evidence, but I think again I think it's based in Brazil. I don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't know what to justify it under. I wouldn't know what to say. Well, it's justified that that you have to be removed from active duty as while an investigation is going on, when I don't know if there can be an investigation in this country where he can't be doing his occupation in his country, as opposed to if he was in Brazil playing for a Brazilian club with Brazilian courts going after him, that he would probably have to be made inactive if he was playing over there. I don't know what the grounds are for this situation. So to be honest, I probably wouldn't know exactly where to sit on this until there's more I think there's a bit more transparency as to what process or what is it process the right word? Yeah, if they decide what process they want to go under, um because I suppose it's I don't think we've had the same sort of evidence for Antony that we've had with Greenwood as well. So I think it's a little bit harder to judge, or to make, for the public to make their own minds up on. It's a little less obvious. So it's going to be a bit more difficult for people to, jump ship on the Antony, on the Antony train. But there's a lot of cases like this in football where I think there's probably got to be a lot more people that have got to be looked at and questioned 100%. And if things like this are happening, then they do need to be punished. But it's just solely down to the fact I just don't really know what the processes would have to be for a case that's happened in a different country, and whether he can face prosecution in this country for something he's done in Brazil. What's happening with Antony, domestic abuse case? Yeah. 70 pages of evidence. I don't know if it's 70 pages of evidence. I think it was a 70-page document which incited all of the evidence against the case. But yeah, I mean, even for a document basis, 70 pages, that's got to be a mad amount of evidence that you've gathered. A mad amount of evidence that you've got to gather for that. If they got rid of Greenwood, surely they have to do the same. I would say on the basis that if, dependent on where the situation goes, if we get into that sort of position where Antony is literally in the same boat as Mason Greenwood factually, from a moral standpoint, but also a factual standpoint, that we can say, well, yeah, Greenwood's gone, Antony has to be gone as well. That's just the way it is. Both domestic abuse cases, one had evidence put out there quite publicly before legal action took place, this one came off of someone reporting a case of domestic abuse to local authorities back in Brazil, but we haven't seen any video clips, pictures. We haven't heard any audio clips. So we're going off of less here as the public, from the public standpoint. We're going off of less evidence. We don't really know to the extent that we knew for Mason Greenwood. But if we were to know more, and if it were to be damning, right, damning evidence, that we would decide, yeah, like, come on, same course of action. You can't be biased because, oh, Anthony FC, oh, Greenwood FC. It's like, you can't have that. If one player gets suspended, kicked out, career cut short because of serious, criminal offences in their careers, you've got to be consistent with the punishment, consistent with the judgment. So I mean, I'll tell you what, if the fact that we've got 2 cases of this, that if it does get to quite a deep state for Anthony, I think Richard Arnold probably either quits or he gets sacked, or the board of directors have to sack him because of mishandling the situation. I reckon this, if he has another domestic abuse case, unless he acts very decisively and, consistently in line with, the other cases of domestic abuse with the Greenwood situation, if you were to do that, then maybe he survives, right? Obviously, he will definitely have backlash because you'll get people who are just like, I don't care that he abused someone. I don't care that he ran somebody over. I don't care that he crashed a plane into a building. I don't care about that. He's still a player. I still love him. I still want him to play for us. Screw the victims. You'll get those people, right? Where it's like they've spent their whole lives smashing their head into a brick wall, right, and thinking the sun shines out of their assholes. You'll inevitably get those people, right? That just happens, right? They don't care about human rights. They just don't care. But yeah, essentially, he looks the type to, mate. Don't get me started on all the haircuts and all that stuff. The club should view it the same. Domestic abuse is domestic abuse. Doesn't matter what country the partner comes from. I mean, that's the thing. If it were to involve international courts, then it wouldn't matter because international courts is just everybody, being on the same page regardless of country. But I don't know whether this would go to international courts. I just don't know. I don't study up on law and legal stuff. I don't read into it, so I wouldn't know. But I can only have inklings, perhaps. Needs his head caving in blood cowed. I mean, justice will be served. It's one of those we have to wait for what truth comes out. As with all things in law, it's kind of a case where the judicial system operates on an innocent till proven guilty, even though basically public eye judges guilty until proven innocent. It's like if someone were to, from Zimbabwe were to say, oh, look, Hotfuzz raped me or something. I'm like, what do you mean? You're in Zimbabwe. I've never been to Africa. But the internet would look at that and say, you're guilty. What do you mean? I've just said I've never been to Zimbabwe, never been to Africa. This woman's never been here. But you're still being accused of rape, so you're guilty. That's the sorry state of affairs for most cases. And for those that are genuinely innocent and get proven innocent, have been through this. They have been through it. But also those that have been guilty, it's just, it's one of those things. Anthony should be done for fraud, saying he's a footballer. Mate, the guy is literally a fidget spinner on the pitch. He's literally just a fidget spinner, and that's it. Uh, Literally, it's one of those things where Ten Hag, what he does is he grabs him, right? He gets one of the corners and just goes wee, and then just like it's like a Beyblade, right? He just rips it, let him rip, and he just sends him out onto the pitch and just goes and destroys everybody on a pitch. That's literally Anthony to a T. What happened with Partey? He's supposed to have done something, and it's been covered up. Supposedly, again, sexual assault, apparently, right? Now, no one was actually named by the courts, but a lot of people assumed it was Thomas Partey, right? The mass majority of people said, well, look, Thomas Partey, and that the club were suspending, right? The yeah, it. I can't remember what it was, but there was a case where it's like they withheld the court's process or something. They withheld off of a process to allow Thomas Partey to keep playing, or to allow whichever player it was to keep playing, and that they were doing that throughout the whole extent of the season. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people that would say, well, look, Thomas Partey, he's a rapist, he should be playing, and it's like I don't know what the truth is. I don't know who factually the player is, but it's just based off of everyone by mass saying Thomas Partey. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It might not be. It might not be. Who knows? Nobody actually knows factually because no one was named. No one was named on the case, so nobody actually knows. Um, he's a subutio figure. Careful what you say, because there's a non-disclosure on that case. Well, that's the thing. The only thing we can do is we can't say that this is facts. It's like I can't say, that this player definitely did it. I wouldn't be allowed to say that because that's it, where you want to label it slander, whether you want to say, discussing a case in a certain manner. It's only a case where it's like, well, it's like we're only at a point of speculation. No one factually knows anything because the courts haven't said anything. The courts haven't, displayed anything. All I know is that the process of whichever club it was extending I don't know what the period is called, but it's something to suspending judgment or something, or a process to allow for a player to continue um, to play or to work, and that's essentially what the situation was. I don't know who it was factually. A lot of people, by mass majority, have made their minds up as to who it is. I can't factually say who it is because I don't know, but I wouldn't want to say that I know. Even if I did know, I wouldn't want to say that I know. But that's the thing. What's fact is that most people assume it's Thomas Partey. That's just fact. That's an observation of public perspective or public opinion. It just is what it is. I can't discuss any deep diving details on the case. But we just have to see what happens over time. But yeah, in terms of the takeover malarkey, basically Neil Custis, Mr. PR man of Manchester, spinning the narrative again, and it could be perceived as the distraction. It's the distraction from the bad, Christ awful transfer window that we're having. Yet again, the board of this club are seriously letting us down. But apparently we've got these fans believe that this is revolutionary. Yeah, we are in a revolutionary, one of a kind transfer window. I don't know what else to say to those people for starters, but it is probably just a case of more story spin because plus Neil Custis is probably one of the few people that wouldn't be told first, or informed firsthand, if you will, on the takeover situation. It'll probably come out from all sorts of people long before Neil Custis will get the word on the takeover process. Be careful, Illuminati is watching you. Don't worry, I am watching you back. I'm watching you back. Hi, FBI guy, who's probably watching me. He's probably writing up some documents to warrant my arrest or something. Hi, FBI guy, how you doing? Um, it's tragic what's happening to your club. It's going to take a good while to come back. I would like to say that if it was under an ownership that doesn't have a serious incentive to really desperately want to win, I think yes, that will take a long while. But we're not coming from just somewhere just completely off radar. Like, we're still on the radar for success, but we are literally always heading any direction that isn't the right direction. And having a strong ownership that's willing to spend, invest, hire the best in class for doing the roles at the club higher up, that right there switches the whole thing around. Switches the whole thing around. It will probably take us the best part of 2 seasons to rid some proper, like, all of the really bad elements of the club, right? About 2 seasons, a third season perhaps to transition into a strong competitive vantage point. And then what will happen is then you can talk all the title talk, all the successful talks, all of the you know go talk about winning Premier Leagues for certain as like favourites, talk about winning Champions Leagues as favourites. You can incur that sort of talk. It's going to take a bit of time to actually get us into that position to do so, because you're going up against someone that's already well established and that has gone through a journey from a much further back position in Manchester City to one that's prominent and dominant. So we've got to basically just turn ourselves around from heading backwards to then head back forwards again. They've got to come up with the money to buy first. Well, I think they have got the money to do it. It's just all of the talks about, the ludicrous asking prices. And supposedly one of the points that was it Simon Peach or somebody said that that the asking price of the Glazers hasn't been met, but the Rain Group is the offers that have been presented on the table by both parties bidding is not at an acceptable place, but that Rain Group is talking to the two bidders in order to bridge the gap. But the problem with that, right, with that report is that Mike Keegan says, well, no one's heard anything. So how can there be any bridging of any gaps if no one's been told anything? So, I'm a bit skeptical about reports that somewhat have information that contradicts one another. So problems. Glazers will no doubt want it all straight away. And that's the thing. The only bid really that offers that sort of a payout is Sheikh Jassim. Henceforth, he's the most favoured to take over the club. They won't care about you getting transfers, and that's the thing. They probably are waiting for the transfer window to end before they at all sit down to even think about the takeover process again. That's probably why it's been in such a limbo state, a hiatus state, if you will, for a long time. So yeah, it's problematic. For Waz kept shares in Forest like 10%. I wonder if Glaze is going to do the same. With Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid, they will. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is offered a saving grace or an olive branch, extended an olive branch to to the Glazers to incur them to stay. It's interesting because someone said about the types of shares that we've got at the club, the Class A's and Class B's, is that the Class B's have voting power over Class A shares, and that selling of Class A's would dissolve into Class B's, and essentially the Glazers, if they were to sell to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, their shares would be diminished, but percentage-wise, they will get the more powerful shares, the more powerful voting rights on the shares. So it's one of those. Has anybody seen this sheikh? All the pictures of him are the same. If you research him, it brings up a guy who's in his 60s or something. I'll tell you what, there are some pictures out there, but there's not really, and I suppose this is a common thing with quite a lot of sheikhs or people from the Middle East in higher up positions or more royalty positions. I suppose there's not really, mass media coverage. I mean, the guy has been pictured multiple times, obviously not widespread as such, but he has been to Old Trafford before. There is a picture of him at Old Trafford in one of the sort of VIP boxes that he had, obviously, because he would have been filthy rich for a long, long, long time. I think the guy in his 60s is probably his dad, which they've got the same, obviously the same name, but his dad is a much more significant name. So I think there's going to be a lot of people diverting or searches that are sort of diverting towards searches coming up for the latter. 10th like, big up. Thank you very much, Stephanie Griffith. Good to see you. Thank you very much. We're on 10 likes. We're on 10 likes. Love it, guys. Really, really love it. And what's this? 9 away from 100 subs. Oh, we're getting closer. We're getting closer, guys. We're 91 subscribers. We're closing in on the big 100. We've just even gone up to 11 likes now, so even better. Even better. We're on a roll, people. What is the earliest we can do a preview tomorrow? Literally, chuck me a time. I will make myself available for it, or I will say if I can or can't do it. Literally, just chuck me a time, and I will tell you if I can or can't do it, and all the other times I can do. But I'll just keep the options for your answer anytime of the day, whatever it may be. It's the Iron Sheikh from WWE. Oh, man. Big T, good to see you. Haven't seen you around in a little while, Big T, but thank you very much. The 11th like. On 11 likes, I think it's probably the most amount of likes you might have had on a stream. Might have that wrong. But it's a record stream. Might be a record stream. We might be right a little bit. Just a little bit of history here. We love it. We do love it. Oh, I tell you what, that Pepsi's getting warm. This room is an oven at the moment. Must be like 35 degrees in this room right now. It's really roasting hot. Absolutely mental. Big ups to BT, yeah. We could do mine tomorrow, 6 p.m, then one on Friday. Yeah, we can do. I can do the preview, my preview on Friday night. It would be a later night one, but we can do the preview on the Friday night stream because I will be at work for the day. But yeah, Friday night I can definitely do for my one, and then we can do a preview on your channel at 6 p.m. All I've got to do is make it official, and then I will be making a community post about it. I will be linking Longhead Yeti's channel in the communities page, where I will be featuring on Longhead Yeti's channel, where we will be doing a Man United versus Nottingham Forest preview, Plus, then on the Friday, one will follow where we'll be doing the preview on my channel, and the setup will just be vice versa. But it's all good. It's all good. Looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. Evening, Big T. Big up, Big T. I've been away camping out in the sticks. Signal is terrible. We'll be home for our next game. Good to hear. Hope you're enjoying yourself at least. I'm hoping it's just the signal, the bad signal that's being a bit of a problem. Hopefully, there's nothing else. Um, need to work out how to do these joint streams. I mean, you've done it before when you did the shows with Mama Flossie and Jez, when you did your ghost stories and Dragons and Dungeons and Dragons stream. So it's probably just somewhat the same, but it's just the subject of conversation is pretty much just whatever it is you want it to be. Yeah, it's been great. Don't want to go home. Maybe Big T is spending enough time in the wild to be the real Yeti. He might actually be a Yeti. You never know. Rumor has it, Big T found long-haired Yeti's old house. Found it in a cave somewhere. Multi-streams, I'll have to look into it. I mean, on my channel and yours at the same time. Oh, I don't think you can do StreamYard joint streams. I don't think you can do that on StreamYard per se. Then again, you might be able to, but you wouldn't be able to use StreamYard as where you'd do the crossover. It will probably need to have it say like where you've got, for example, on Discord, right, where there's an alternative platform where outside of the streaming software, we can both be streaming from our respective StreamYards, and it will be broadcasted to each other's channels. But we'd need to have a platform where we can screen share, or basically feature each other. Basically, we're in the same voice call as such. So you could do it that way, or otherwise it would need to be done with an alternative streaming platform such as OBS. But OBS, I think, is a bit of a ball ache to set up. Here's my preview. Forest beat us. To be honest, I can't say that fully disagree. I want us to be beating Nottingham Forest and comfortably, but I mean, based off of the evidence of the two games we've played thus far, it's not looking great. It's not looking great at all. So that's Tony Claude Yeti who does it. Or ask Tony Claude. Can you both stream and have each other on as guests? Not on. I don't believe it. You can do it on StreamYard because you need both. Because it's like a host thing. StreamYard is a host. So you'd need to be your own host of your own show. But if you have another platform that you can go onto where you can be in the same call with the other person that's streaming on something, because if it's a desktop generated audio over the microphones, then each other's respective streams can actually then pick up what it is each other's saying. Ask Tony Claude, yes, he does it. Or TJ. I use Streamlabs. I mean, there is probably an extended feature that I literally have not read into yet, that I'm being completely oblivious to. So we have been going for 1 hour 45 minutes. I believe I shall call it a day there. before it gets too late. And plus, I think I'm starting to sort of overheat a little bit now. So I'm going to wrap things up there, people. Thank you very, very much for all the love and support from everybody in chat. Thank you ever so much for everybody who's liked the stream. Really, really, really appreciate it. I think it's absolutely fantastic, the level of support that people have shown me on this channel. Honestly, it's really, really incredible. And I'm so, so grateful and thankful for everybody that has contributed to the growth of this channel. Honestly, fantastic community filled with fantastic people. So big ups to every single person that is a part of this community and who features on the shows, features in the comments. Those of you who have liked the stream on 11 likes, which I think is a channel record. As well as that, also, I believe we are on 91 subscribers, so 9 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. I'll tell you what, Yeti, maybe you do it like a football match, right? Football match, 45 minutes, right? And let a moderator decide the additional time, right? And then we've got a 15-minute interval, like the halftime break, switch it around, then I'll start the second half, and then again, moderator in this channel decides the extra time and all of that, right? And then we'll let the chat score which preview was better, right? And then we can decide. It's like a football match for StreamYards, except, it's only talking about football, not actually playing football. So, bit of a wacky idea, but you never know, might be entertaining. Do one half each. It's kind of themed off of what Big T's just said there. Yeah, could do part 1, part 2. It's an option. It's a possibility. I will be back regular when I get home. Glad to hear that. It's always a pleasure having you around in the chat, Big T. Really appreciate the presence. Oh Christ, VAR said no. Mama Flossie can be VAR. Mama Flossie can be VAR. I'm hoping that she can do it. I'm hoping that she can do a better job with VAR than some of the officials do in this country. But anyways, people, I'm wrapping up there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to get myself a pint glass of chocolate milk before it's too late for me to do so. I'm going to unwind, get me some sleep, and have myself a blessed Thursday afternoon. Yeah, Thursday. Have me a blessed Thursday. And yes, keep an eye out for said preview on the Nottingham Forest game, featuring on Longhaired Yeti's channel. As the plan, that will be the first one. Once the time is definitely confirmed, that will be posted on the communities tab. So do be sure to go and check it out and start getting subbed to his channel. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. And good night to everybody. And we'll be seeing you again tomorrow. Ciao for now.